I froze my eggs over 13 years ago. And I was in a 7-year relationship, and that ended without marriage, without a ring. And basically, I wasted my own time. And I always say I gave away my best baby making years to the wrong man, to the wrong relationship. And when I was 37, I froze my eggs with the help of my mom.
What's up, y'all? It's Ashley.
It's Melanie.
And Cody here. And you've tapped into
The Mama's Den.
Welcome to the Mama's Den podcast. How did I end up singing every week?
I don't know, girl. But keep
Melanie?
going.
Melanie? Can
You got it, girl. You got it.
out?
You got it.
She said you got it.
You got it.
Okay.
Melanie only sings when she's paid. Sorry.
Okay, I can do all things because my sisters hype me up. Okay.
Right.
Mama's Den Village. I am Cody Elaine Oliver, mama to 3 boys, Brooks, Aristotle, and Langston. Langston and Aristotle are twins, by the way.
I am Ashley Chia, mama to 4 daughters. Amira, who is about to be 17. I know. In about a month. It's very insane.
That is crazy.
Sarah, who is 9. Asia is 7. And Natalia is 4.
I'm Melanie Fiona, and if I love you, I sing for no money.
Yeah.
And I have 2 children, Cameron, who's 9, and Kaya, who just turned 4, which is wild. And we have a special guest in the den today. And we'll do the proper intro, but she's a new mama. She's in the throes. She's in the throes of newborndom.
And we are so excited because Kellee Stewart is so many things. In addition to being a new mama, we are excited for Miss Kellee Stewart, who is an award-winning actress, writer, and leading fertility and egg freezing advocate, who has used her personal journey to empower other women to freeze their eggs and shared on blacklove.com, as well as many other platforms, including the Sherry Shepherd Show. Kellee uses her vulnerability to get us to do the things we need to do as women. But also, just taking a step back, because I'm sure she looks familiar. She has been in shows and films, but shows like Chicago Med and All American, among others. And she is really committed to empowering women around fertility. And as we said, mama to a 5-month-old? 5?
4 months today.
4.
She's 4 months today.
Oh my
yes.
goodness gracious, girl!
Yes. My
So
baby Phoenix.
How are you surviving?
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you because I made it to the den. I made it. I am in the den, and I'm in the den as a mama, and that's a 13-year journey for me. So that's huge. But to answer your question, I am loving every bit of it. It is survival. It definitely is survival, from the every 3-hour feeds, the breastfeeding of it all, just getting used to this new me, this new version of myself. But I am so enamored and in love with my daughter. She's the coolest chick. I mean, she is the most amazing little creature. I can't believe I waited so long to meet her. But when you hear the whole story of how she came to be, it was really, really right on time. Phoenix is 90% of my day is just looking at her smile. And she's so happy and she's so joyous. And she's her mama's twin, if I do say so myself. And but I love my baby girl so much. It's changed everything about me for the better.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Okay.
Wait, go ahead, Cody.
No, you got it.
I was going to ask her, can you share a little bit of that journey on how you got to having this beautiful baby girl?
Yes, well, I froze my eggs over 13 years ago. And I was in a 7-year relationship, and that ended without marriage, without a ring. And basically, I wasted my own time. And I always say I gave away my best baby making years to the wrong man, to the wrong relationship. And when I was 37, I froze my eggs with the help of my mom, Mama Stu. And I got 29 eggs in one cycle, which is kind of unheard of.
Now,
so I don't want to put,
When you give mama credit, how did she help when you say that?
She gave me the shots, girl. She gave me all the injections because I'm terrified of needles. So
Got it.
all the injections that happen in your abdomen, in your booty, all of those things, mama was there, plus she was cooking the food, plus she was wiping the tears and all of the things that happen when your hormones are,
Yeah.
elevated so much. And then she took me to the procedure itself, and when I woke up, she was the one that said, "You got 29 eggs." Actually, I got 32. 29 survived and were viable and frozen. And to be honest, I was just waiting for the right person. And I kind of had this illusion and this vision in my head that, okay, they're in the freezer. And now I can go live my life, which you can, right? You can do your career, you can travel, you could work on yourself, whatever you want to do because you have frozen your eggs. But that's not a guarantee. You're just freezing potential fertility. Nothing is guaranteed. But I had 29 really gorgeous chances here. So I believe that I really had time to wait for the right person. And I waited and I waited and I waited. And I've been in beautiful relationships, but none of them were the ones that would maturate to being the one that I felt was going to be my husband and then father of a child. And so I mourned it. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be a mama. Like I can still be a wife. I could still, just partner up with somebody, but I guess I'm not gonna be a mama because it's not happening the way I said it should happen. I was controlling my destiny instead of letting God above, who rules my life, tell me what the thing is. And so the way it came to be, after I mourned it all, and really just kind of got used to saying, okay, I'm gonna be a rich auntie or something like that, and let it go. When you surrender, that's when God really speaks. That's when He moves. So I can't share all of it, but I will give you the cliff notes because Mama Stu and I, we have a podcast coming out in 2026 called Mom and Me Makes Three. And
Oh,
that,
Wow.
yeah, and it details exactly what happened, but I will give you the cliff notes. Um, I was actually going to be moving to Atlanta, buying a house there, and my mom
Will
got a
you tell
really
us
bad.
timeline? When was this? When was
So
this?
this was March of 2024.
Okay.
March of 2024. And I was stopping in Philadelphia, which is where I'm at now, my home in Philly that I have. And my mom got a really bad gallbladder infection. And so she was in the hospital, and the medication that they gave her rendered her nonverbal. Like, where does that happen? And I never left her, but I left for 2 hours to go take a shower. And when I come back, my mom can't say my name. She can't tell me where she is. She can't tell me what she needs. And if you know my mom, she's a very powerful, outspoken, incredible woman. So to see her literally have her voice ripped from her and all of her attributes ripped from her was devastating to me. So I tore that hospital up and I never left her. I slept in the same sweatsuit for night after night after night. And one night, a nurse came in at 4:30 in the morning. Her name was Brandy, and I had stopped all of my mom's medications, any narcotics or anything heavy I had stopped because I didn't know if she was swallowing correctly, all of that. And we were waiting for this medication to metabolize out of her body. And Brandy came in and said, I don't mean to pry, but some of the nurses see that you're on TV and they heard that you're a fertility advocate. I said, yes. And she said, do you have kids? And I'm looking at my mom who can't answer a question to me. And I said, no. And I think I've waited too long. And in that moment, hand to the God I serve, Mama Stu opened her eyes, looked at me, and she said the following: go get the baby. We froze your eggs together, and you've always wanted this. If you've learned anything from what's happening to me, it's stop waiting for life to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. She's my gift to you. She's my gift to you, and you will put her in my arms because I'm going to be here. So go get the baby.
oh my
And she
God.
closed her eyes, and then she was out, and she was nonverbal again. And thankfully, I have a witness. I was on the floor. And by that point, my knees were hurting because I had hit the floor and I started crying and praying. And I knew this was my word from God.
Yeah.
I will say this. People always said to me, Kellee, why don't you just go ahead and just do this on your own? And I said, well, it's not that I disagree with that. I advocate for it, right? But I haven't heard that from God for me yet. And until God speaks that word to me, I don't move. And this was that word from God through my mother. And so then I went through all of the tests to see if I could carry, because I'm a woman of a certain age, honey, over 45. And I said, God, if this is you, which I know it is, then every single test will come out that it will be a yes. So everything from my fallopian tubes to my uterine lining to a colonoscopy to getting my heart checked, everything that I needed to get checked, I got checked. And then we went through the thawing and the fertilization process, which all of the eggs survived the thaw. It was just amazing. 29 eggs survived the thaw, 24 were fertilized, 19 went to blastocyst. I got them tested, and 11 were PGT tested normal. And
now, girl, we don't know what blastocyst is, or
I was just gonna Google it when we
I
got
mean,
off.
I'm gonna go with it. But come on.
We got a time
blastocyst.
right here, Cody. Stay focused.
Stay focused. So for those that need to know, blastocyst is when when it becomes an embryo, when it's 200 cells. That's the time where you can transfer it into a uterus. Before then, when you fertilize it, it has to continue to divide day after day after day. And the fertility clinic will call you and let you know how the embryos are progressing, or if you're losing some, and you will always lose some. And so when you get to blastocyst, and for me to get 19 to blastocyst, that means I can now test, if I choose to, if someone chooses to, I can test those embryos for chromosomal, abnormalities, things like that.
Yeah.
And so, right. And so I tested them, and 11 were normal. And my mom said, she's my gift to you. And one of the things that you do with this test is you can see gender. Some people agree with this, some people disagree with that. I don't care about other people. I care about what my mama said, what God said through my mother, dripping from the throne, honey. He says, she's my gift to you. And something I always used to do is pray at 11:11. And Hebrews 11:11, when Sarah, who was past childbearing age, would deliver a child because she believed him faithful that promised her. So I said, what embryo was frozen on 11/11? Because this was happening in November. And there was an embryo that was frozen on November 11th. And that embryo is in the other room right now, taking a nap.
Taking a nap.
Taking a nap. My baby's taking my 11/11. So I would pray at 11:11 every day. I would pray about Sarah 11:11, the scripture. And my 11:11 is my baby Phoenix. And her name came because she was transferred into my uterus during the LA fires, January the 8th, rising from the ashes. And I was rising out of a 13-year journey to becoming a mom. And the fires were burning, and we were praying, and the smoke was going around me. And I thought, this is so fitting that she would rise to meet me in this moment. Yeah.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm really literally crying.
That's really
Girl, I cry
beautiful.
every day.
Yeah.
I cry every day.
I am such a person who really believes in, like, I believe in signs,
Miracles.
all of this, all of this, all of this. My last child was born at 11/11, and
Ooh.
her birthday is 11/22/21, and she was born at 11:11 a.m. But I just and my middle name is Sarah, which is Sarah in Hebrew or whatever. But like, I love all of this. I love it all. I love all of these signs. It's just so beautiful. And I love that you listen. I do have a question. Did your mom regain her ability to speak?
Yes, my mom regained her ability to speak, and she won't shut up. Just so you know. So it was interesting because when she did wake up again, I recorded her and I was asking her, "Do you remember what you said?" And she still was like in and out, but she would say, she's my gift to you, go get the baby, you know. And then when she was fully of herself again, um, we spoke about it, and she said, I remember the feeling of wanting you to make sure that you were going to live a full life.
Mm-hmm.
I remember co-signing the word that was coming through me, but I
Girl.
don't remember saying it. I don't
Yeah.
remember opening my eyes. I don't remember looking at you. And you know, when you have an experience with God,
Mm-hmm.
see, now I'm going to cry. Um, you know when it's him, right? You know when it's not of you. You know that all of the circumstances that are put in place, when something miraculous happens that's bigger than you surrender
Mm-hmm.
to it.
Yeah.
You stop asking questions and you just get obedient. At least that's what I've learned to do. Is just be obedient to what I heard. It wasn't like I didn't want a baby. I'd want a baby forever. It wasn't like I wasn't publicly advocating for other women and people to be proactive about their fertility. I was doing the work. But there's something about the surrendering and letting it go and letting God. And because I needed a word from him, he used my mother at
Yeah.
a time when she was wordless.
Mm.
Mm.
And that's how I knew for sure this is not her. This is dripping from the throne. And I have one chance to
Yeah.
do this at my age and all of those things. And I did one round of IVF, and in she went and out she came.
That is amazing.
So, Kellee, you have always been outwardly and publicly like committed to your faith and have a strong relationship with God where you can hear something and know this to listen. But I'm curious, what if anything was the hardest part of that obedience? You'd already done the mourning, so what doubt or what questions did you have about, can I do this, or about being a mom on your own with your mama?
Right. Which was, there's this term, single mom by choice.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't identify with it because there was nothing single about this choice. There is a whole village of people, family, aunties and uncles, godpoppies, the whole village of people that are committed to helping me raise Phoenix, and we're committed to helping me bring her into the world. The hardest part, to answer your question, Cody, was getting out of my own way and getting out of my ego about it.
Mhm.
And by that I mean, what's society going to think? Is she too old? Oh, you're alone. You know, did you do this for likes or views because you were an advocate? It was about my own insecurities and my own ego about the chatter and the noise that was never really real, right? Because it never is. But what I learned in that moment was that that was the same insecurity, fear, and chatter that kept me from doing this any sooner.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because I had convinced myself that the way I wanted it to happen, God's like, I never told you that. I never told you you needed to be married. I never told you it needed to be this guy that you fell in love with. I never said all of those things to you. I just said you will be a mother one day.
Mhm.
And because I wanted to control it, I put myself through years of advocacy, which was great. But the other part of advocacy is agony. That's the part that you don't see, because when I'm helping other people, I'm really just healing the pain that I have inside.
Yeah.
So there was this
Heard.
agony because there was people that I was helping that were becoming moms once, twice, three times over in front of me. And my circumstances still weren't changing. I'm like, how's she on her third baby, God? And I'm over here and I still don't have a date. And when I learned to let go of all of that and get out of my own way, that's when the joy in this journey really, really happened for me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I want to acknowledge for our Mama's Den village that this is an abridged episode. Melanie, I know you have to jump up,
I
and
do.
and to pick up your children from school.
To pick up my children from school. I want to
Yes.
show you something though before I go, because I just think this is really beautiful. First of all, I think Phoenix is such a beautiful name, but I have a phoenix tattooed on my arm.
The signs.
Yes.
I love that. Oh my
And she
gosh.
flies.
Oh, and she
Yes.
flies.
Flies.
Oh,
So I just wanted
thank
to show
you.
you that because I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful symbol. What you were able to receive and name your daughter that, and she will carry that energy rising from the ashes through this beautiful journey, and she will, I just feel it. I can feel it. The presence of God in your journey is so inspiring, and I cannot wait for everybody to hear this episode and hear part 2, because I know there's so much more we have to get into. And I have to pick up my children, and you'll
Yes.
get there one day too. One day you're gonna drop her off somewhere, and they'll be like, "I gotta go, guys. Gotta go pick up Phoenix."
Exactly. I can't wait for that day.
Yes,
Thank you
but
for
just
showing me that.
thank you for sharing your story thus far, and I hope I love seeing the joy of new motherhood on any woman. It is so beautiful on you. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, Melly Mel.
All right,
Bye.
guys.
Safe
See you
travels.
soon.
We won't. I feel like we shouldn't go on too long without her, and we should wrap. So, Mama's Den Village, we had some technical issues at the beginning, so we're gonna have a short episode with Kellee, and we're gonna follow it up. Ashley, what can we give our Mama's Den community that we can tease for the next one? But like,
I don't know, because I actually had a question.
ask it. No, ask your question. Ask your question, and then we'll round it out so we can continue. But
Yeah, no, I was just wondering because I know you were. For me, it's so interesting your story because, like, from watching you, and that's how we don't know how people are interpreting our words, right? We don't know how people interpret our message, and that's been my thing with God anyway too. Like everybody interprets things very differently, right? For me, I really felt like you were truly advocating for women to freeze their eggs. In my head, thinking like to have a baby, like go through, like get a sperm donor, and to have a baby on their own. Because like don't waste time. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, I guess I didn't. I guess there were times when I saw videos where I'm like, oh, she's just like, you should save your eggs regardless. You might meet somebody, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking like it's to say like you don't have to be married, you don't have to have the perfect partner. Like if you want to become a mother, like these are the things that you need to do and to prepare yourself. So I think it's very interesting that you're like that wasn't really the route that you wanted to take, because that actually surprised me when you said that. But now that I'm thinking about, like, I guess that makes sense. Like you weren't necessarily saying like you don't have to have a partner, you're saying like you should freeze your eggs at whatever age, just in case you don't meet your partner until you're 40 or you're 45 or whatever, so that you have these viable eggs from when you're younger, right?
Well, yes. First of all, thank you for watching some of my stuff. I really appreciate that. And
Oh yeah, girl, I was locked in.
you were locked in. I love it. But one of
And
the
I
things
asked
that
it. I just thought it was important. It was I
Yeah.
just thought to call you
Yeah.
about it. I thought it was such important messaging, and I already had children.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I was really advocating for proactive fertility health, which is more about getting the knowledge about your fertility, because we're taught sex education in school, but we're not taught reproductive health. We don't know. We know this thing goes in here possibly, and then a baby may come
Girl,
out, right? But
we're barely taught sex education.
we're barely taught that, right? But we're
Barely
not
taught
taught.
the difference between our labia and our vagina. Barely.
No, we're not.
Correct.
No, who's taught that?
Correct.
We only figure
Right.
it out later in these conversations.
Honey. But we're not talking about fibroids or endometriosis or adenomyosis or anything that can affect a woman's ability to conceive or carry a baby to term safely. So I was really advocating, not necessarily, and even if you see, even if you see some of my interviews, you'll see that I'll say, I'm not telling you to freeze your eggs. That's a personal decision, and it's a personal decision with your body, with your finances, and with your spirit, whatever that is. So I can't necessarily do that. But what I can do is share my egg freezing journey and say, this is what I did. And this is the results that I got. And these are the options that I now have because of it. And I always stress that it's not guaranteed. That's why I would bring doctors on, as well as patients and real people, on Warrior Wednesdays, the show that I was doing on Instagram, because I wanted to inform the community. I wanted to give them those hour-long consultations that I went to when I froze my eggs, I wanted to just say, here's a consultation, ask the questions. Now you have the answers.
Yeah.
But I did advocate for solo parents of every gender or whatever gender you identify with, or no gender at all, whatever it might be. If you wanted to become a parent, there are many ways to get to that goal that are outside of what the traditional norm may be. And if you're stuck in that traditional norm, you oftentimes will judge yourself, feel like a failure, and miss your opportunity to become the parent that you desire and deserve to be. So I was just trying to open the field, and I did that through the lens of my egg freezing journey. But I always wanted to do it the married person way until life was lifing, and I learned that my that was a control mechanism, that was an ego thing with me. And so of course God would say, I'm going to take you this route, and now I have another thing to advocate about, and I have another journey to talk about. You know, they say if you want to make God laugh, make a plan. I made a plan. I made a plan, and I talked about the plan, but thankfully, thankfully, it didn't work out that way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have that beautiful 1111 Phoenix in that room. It would be somebody else. So, proactive fertility health is really what I'm about. Know your body, know how this works, so that you can empower yourself to make choices should you need to make them in the future.
So Kellee, during this time, and I just know a few things. So you were doing Warrior Wednesdays on Instagram Live, which are still exist on your Instagram page, which is at Kellee Stewart.
Yes, at KStew222.
Boom.
KSTEW222. That was my idiot way of trying to stay incognito when I should never have done that. But yes, KStew222.
You also produced Eggs Over Easy, the documentary, right?
I did not produce that, actually. Keisha Knight Pulliam, good friend, she produced that along with Shaquita Lockley, amazing. And Keisha and I were doing a movie in Atlanta together. And in the trailer, she was like, can you talk about your egg freezing journey on this project that I'm producing? And I said I would love to. And then she was voicing the project, and then she didn't know at the time that she would later be one of the girls going through IVF when she married Brad. But it was actually Keisha Knight and Shaquita Lockley that did that.
Nice. Okay, and that's available probably on OWN's channels, but also anywhere else?
Yes, that's on OWN. It's OWN. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but it's definitely OWN. Okay. Yeah. So Eggs Over Easy. It's great.
Documentary to learn about egg freezing, IVF. And so any more resources that we can share? When will the podcast come out?
So the podcast is going to be coming out in the spring. So we shot it all, and that's going to be detailing. My mother was also on a journey, and I was on a journey at the very same time. And we wanted to tell the story. It's emotional, it's powerful, it's filled with God, and it's difficult. But at the same time, it is inspiring, and it reminds us to live life now, right now. And that'll be out in the spring. Mom and Me Makes 3.
Okay. So then, Mama's Den fam, this is our part 1 with Kellee Stewart. And anyway,
I still have a million questions. So I'm like,
I mean, should
I want to come back? Yeah, we should. I should come back and at least and answer your million questions. And if anybody else has questions about the process.
Ashley, is there anything else you're like dying to ask now?
Well, I do want to ask you a question, but I don't know if you can answer it or if we have to wait for your podcast. I just wanted to ask if this isn't disrespectful though, and then we can cut it out if it is. But I wanted to ask if you ended up having to use a sperm donor.
Yes, it's not disrespectful at all. And I have no problem sharing that. But yes, I went through donor, an agency. I won't say which agency, but I didn't use the one that a lot of people go to, put it that way. But the great thing about the donor world of it all. First of all, let me say this to answer your question. A lot of people think that only same sex couples and or single people use donor agencies for conception. That is absolutely false.
Mm-hmm.
Married couples, people that are single, it's everybody, because you never know um, who in a partnership may need a donor egg or donor sperm. The reason I
Yes.
wanted to bring that up is because I know married couples that have used donor eggs or donor sperm, and I know
Mhm.
the stigma that's on that. And that's really, really unfortunate, because
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
none of us would run away from, if we needed a kidney transplant, we wouldn't
Right.
run away from being public and saying, I need a kidney transplant. Here's my GoFundMe, and getting that
Mhm.
transplant. But there's something about this shame. That's that word again, that if I'm in the low ovarian reserve, or if someone's sperm, the swimmers don't work, or the tails are cut off and it's not working, it's not doing its thing, that there's some shame attached to needing assistance through a donor program. What I did love about the donor program is that when you meet somebody and you procreate, you don't know what genes they carry. You don't
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
You don't know all of the different health things that may be going on with them. They may not even know. When you use a donor program, everything is screened to the T. So I
Mm.
know more about the donor's health than I probably
Mm-hmm.
would with somebody I was, quite frankly, married to, honestly.
Right.
I know more now about my health. A lot of these programs, you can get an interview with the donor, so you get to hear his or their voice talking about why they decided to donate. That may help aid in your decision, as well as all the physical attributes, the medical attributes, all of those things. In my case, I was screened for over 800 and something genes to see if I was a carrier of them. And
Okay.
he was screened as well. And but one that I was a carrier of, there wasn't a screening for him on that, for the donor.
Okay.
And so I called to get what's called supplemental screening. So they will call the donor and they will say, will you come in and be screened for this, because there's somebody that would like to utilize your donation, but needs to know. And in my case, that person did do that. I do not know what he looks like as an adult. I will say this, because it is a taboo thing. Phoenix will know uh, this whole story. Obviously, I'm public about it, but as she grows, I will be telling her in the language that she can understand, at the age that's appropriate for her to understand, that somebody made
Absolutely.
a beautiful donation and a gift that made it possible for mommy to have you.
Okay. That's
And
children's book, FYI.
yes, yes, possible for mommy to have you. And then there's different ways with donors. They can be anonymous. They never ever want to be contacted. They never want to
Hmm.
be known. Or there's those that will, at the age of 18, the offspring can find out the person's name and last known address, if they may or may not have some questions that that person may or may not be willing to answer. I
Yeah.
chose for my daughter to have all the access that she possibly can, so that she can live a life where she feels like any questions that she has, there's a possibility of an answer coming her way. But I
That's
advocate for it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That's no, that's very beautiful, and that actually answered the other questions that I had. We had Kerry Washington on the show, and she talked about her father or her mother. They used a sperm. She didn't find out until later,
Yeah.
obviously, and that was like a whole thing. But so I'm familiar with it because that actually opened my mind because I've heard about women using egg donors, but not. I don't really hear about a lot of married couples using donors, but I do know that it is a thing. So I'm glad that
Hmm.
you're open up, and I'm glad that you're telling your daughter so that she has the ability to live a full life and not have those questions that come as an adult when things are hidden from you. So I think that's really beautiful and kind of
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
for her.
Well, it's about me asking myself, what would I want? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
How would I want to, if this was, I have to, and you guys are moms, so you know this. It's always about what would I want for myself? I want to give to her, and I want to give her all the answers. And I'm public, and she's born to a fertility advocate. But no, I don't believe in secrets. I think that they cause a lot of pain. I understand why it happens. I get the shame. That's that word again, and the feeling of failure, and all of the reasons why people may not tell the whole story. I loved Carrie's just the way that she was open in her book, and I read about it, and I love that she, especially as a grown woman, is telling her truth about it with her relationship with her father. I think that's super brave, and because Carrie did what she did, because I say what I say, because you guys have the Mama's Den, it opens the pathway for this to be more normalized, because the reality is when Phoenix is 25 years old, this is not going to be as taboo even as it is today or as it was 25 years ago. With each generation, they just become smarter and more willing to tell the truth and live a fuller life. So if I'm going to live a full life, I have to give her all the information to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you know you're a good mom.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're thinking about your child. Like that to me is I always tell people, you know you're a good mom when you're actually thinking about whether or not you're a good mom and thinking about your child's life beyond you and beyond your own feelings. Like what is the experience they're going to have in life? And it's just so beautiful to see that you're already like an amazing mother, 4 months in. It's this just really amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very happy. She's a beautiful baby, and I have a lot to learn. And I've been watching some of y'all's episodes, so they're helping me learn along the way all the things that I'm gonna encounter. I'm just enjoying this, this little bubble now, this 4-month bubble that we're in. So yeah.
Well, Kellee, I'm so happy that we were able to do this, and we will absolutely do a part 2. Mama's Den Village, y'all need to go to Kellee's Instagram, kstew222. Is that right?
There you go. That's correct.
And watch the old videos, the new videos, and come back to us and Kellee with all of your questions about egg freezing, IVF. We want to be a resource. We're grateful to have people as knowledgeable as Kellee come to the Mama's Den and share their stories. Because motherhood cannot be done without a village, without community, without swapping stories. So thank y'all. Okay. Oh, also Mama's Den Village. If you're looking for us, you can follow us at the Mama's Den Podcast on Instagram. Watch our episodes on Black Love's YouTube and email us at podcasts@blacklove.com. That's all I got.
Oh, I get to do it too. Okay.